Prescription drug abuse and overdose has taken so many lives in America that the White House classifies it as an epidemic. Sadly, our nation's veterans are some of the most at risk of becoming addicted to prescription drugs. Veterans like Nick Stefanovic.
I got discharged, honorably discharged from the Marine Corps in 2006. And when I came home is when I started using pills.
What were you taking?
Oxycontin.
Oxycontin is an opioid prescribed to treat severe acute or chronic pain. Veterans hospitals are increasingly prescribing the drug to people with chronic pain who also have post-traumatic stress disorder.
It almost cures the type of mental health disorders that you come back from combat with immediately.
But mental illness can increase a person's risk of addiction.
So that addiction just snowballed and spiraled out of control. To the point where I'd lost everything.
Stefanovic got so caught up in his addiction, he was ultimately arrested for writing fraudulent checks to buy drugs illegally. Oxycontin is an opioid, an addictive painkiller that resulted in over 16,000 deaths in 2010. That number has been increasing over the past 11 years. Despite its highly addictive nature, the number of opioid prescriptions written by the VA has risen by over 287% between 1999 and 2012. In 2012 alone, the VA treated over 50,000 veterans for issues associated with opioid use, many of which were overdoses. According to a study by the VA, veterans with post-traumatic stress disorder are more than twice as likely to be prescribed opioids, which is a painkiller. At the same time, opioids can have toxic reactions to other common PTSD medications. But is it safe to give opioids to people who have PTSD? I asked Purdue Pharma, the leading producer of Oxycontin, about this, and they told me opioid analgesics are an important part of treating veterans who suffer from chronic pain. Their use should be closely monitored at all times, especially in combination with other medications. But Purdue has a history of misleading the public. In 2007, the company pled guilty to criminal charges of misbranding the product as less addictive than what it really was and misleading doctors, patients, and regulators about the risk of the product. Yet the VA continues to prescribe the drug, which is Purdue Pharma's cash cow. The painkiller accounts for 80% of their total revenues. Oxycontin sales increased 300% between 2001 and 2011. Purdue has sold over $27 billion worth of this drug since 1996. That's more than the entire gross domestic product of North Korea and Jamaica combined.
We all know, we can't deny, they're making a ton of money off of this.
Judy Swatowski is a Veterans Treatment Court judge in Michigan.
We're looking at dramatically increasing rates of death, and that's no different for our veterans.
She believes the criminal justice system can be successful at treating prescription drug addictions. Stefanovic found himself in a Veterans Treatment Court program after his arrest. He was court-ordered to report to a judge and attend treatment sessions for a year. He says the program saved his life. But to get into the program, a person first has to get arrested. The larger policy question is how the VA can avoid contributing to the addiction problem in the first place.
The rate of recovery from opiate dependence is less than 1% typically, so it's even much less. It's highly addictive.
The total financial costs of the Iraq and Afghanistan wars are estimated to be between $4 and $6 trillion. However, we can't put a price tag on the over 6,000 casualties from these wars. Sadly, many veterans that do make it home find themselves fighting another battle over prescription drugs. In Washington, D.C., Perry Ann Boring, RT.